Hey, welcome everybody. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma, of course. Today I have a special guest with me, Bob Clark from On Fire Reviews and Content. And I'm so excited for him to share what he does with you all today, because I know that it can help you to supersize your businesses. So Bob, welcome. Would love if you would tell us a little bit about the hats, of course, and then what you do, why you do it, and especially why you do it, because I love having people share their stories of what makes them do what they do and why they have the businesses that they have.
Okay, so the reason I started wearing the hats was before On Fire Reviews, I used to be a political consultant. And I stumbled into that industry. And the problem was, again, this was about, 10 years ago. I'm not a Kennedy, I'm not a Bush, I'm not a Clinton, et cetera, pick whatever big political name you are. I don't have an Ivy League degree. And I am not stinking rich. So the problem was when I went into that industry, I had all these strikes against me to get my name out there. So my friends and I were having a couple drinks and we're talking about how am I going to get known. And we decided that I'm going to be the guy in the hat. And that way everyone sees me there, they see the hat. Also, if you've ever been to a big political event, all the people, when they see each other, they do this. When they see them across the room. And you can't look cool doing that. It is impossible. Even like literally George Clooney, if he did this, there's just no way even George Clooney could look cool. So I would see someone, they'd wave, and I would just do that. So that's how I got the hats. So what On Fire Reviews does, the reason we started On Fire Reviews is I decided to get out of the political space, and we started as an SEO company. And what happened was we had a client who was an auto broker. So we had to write lots of car articles. And my team told me that if they ever have to write another article about cars, they're going to kill me. and so what happened was we said, okay, well, let's think of different content. Well, why don't we start calling his clients over the phone and basically make that in a blog content? What the client's talking about, the whole process there. We realized that we can become the testimonial company instead, make us something new out of the niche. So we're not just another SEO company. And so we started becoming the testimonial company. We lost the sale because we don't do video. So I figured out how to turn a phone call of someone into a video.
Nice.
And so I really like it because, again, it's one of those things where we have all these amazing businesses out there that, they know what makes them different. Their clients know what makes them different. But there's always that gap between what their clients are saying and what their, prospects are hearing. And so being able to help bridge that gap is the reason that we started On Fire Reviews.
That's wonderful. I know that I find that in my businesses. I could tell people that I'm wonderful all day long and they couldn't care less. But if one of my happy clients or customers tells them how great my Italian food is, or how awesome we catered an event, or how terrific my coaching is, then people love it if they find the results that they're looking for out of someone else's mouth, but not out of mine. They don't want to hear it from the business owner. And I think so much marketing online, especially as I've gotten into that world, is all look at me. And people don't want to look at you. They want to know what you can do for them.
Yep, with the finger points. Remember, the finger points are important. Look at me. Hey, buy my stuff. People love me. And so one of the important things, though, when you're getting testimonials from your clients, you don't want to just have them say how great and wonderful you are, because no one cares that your clients love you. What they want to hear is, how did you change their ABC? I got to make sure there we go. Their ABC to XYZ. So we as a company focus very much on making sure that, we ask very leading questions. For example, I heard from other people that their conversion rates went up. If it was a coach, tell me about that. I heard they're saving time. Tell me about that. Get them to a point where they're basically, talking about the very specific details of your business.
So can I ask you a question or two about your process? I mean, do you contact people's clients and then ask them questions, or do you do video testimonials? Or I guess tell us a little bit more about what you specialize in.
Well, first off, we don't do video testimonials because 99% of the population is horrible in front of a camera. They're worried about how they look. I mean, again, even then, I was looking at my setup beforehand. Again, I'm doing a lot of podcasting and videos every single day. And all of a sudden I realized that, well, I don't want just a blue backdrop. What do I want to do with it? So I made sure I put the plants in now. Nice. You actually did one of my very first podcasts, and the lighting was horrible. So now I have to go and buy some lighting and focus on that there. And so someone like me, as someone who is in the top 1% of people in front of a camera, if I'm worried about how I look, imagine someone who's never been in front of a camera before, how they're going to be freaking out, making sure their makeup's pretty and everything there, so they're worried about it. So everything's over the phone call, and then we take it for the video part of it. It's basically the text of what they're saying is scrolling down the screen.
Okay.
Picture of them in the corner if possible, and we clean up the audio. If they talk like an old grandma like this, we can take the tone down.
That.
Yep. Actually, my personal favorite one was this gentleman. He said great things, but he talked like this. Every single time he would say something, he would say So we were able to, and if you did that in a video camera, you can't take those out. But because it was an audio, we had our teams painstakingly take every single out. Someone threw something at me afterwards, but we still got it done.
Awesome.
And so it's a phone call, purely phone call, because again, 90%, 99% of the population's okay on the phone. They're not worried about it there. And if they are freaked out, then we just basically say, relax, it's a phone call. We edit the audio. Also, another thing that we have found out that's very interesting, the more a client loves you, the more they're freaked out about how good the testimonial is going to be. They want to make sure it's perfect. They want to make sure that they say everything you have there.
Very cool. Very good. I love that strategy because, like you said, you can get testimonials from people that would normally be too afraid to do them. I know for my personal stuff, I'm trying to get a couple of my clients to do video testimonies. And now that you say that, I'm like, maybe I won't have them. But they're very powerful if you can get them. So
here's what I tell people. If you can get your clients to say exactly what you want them to say, be concise in the camera and look great on the camera, knock yourself out. But what I just said there is for, again, 99.9% of the population, that's unrealistic.
Right. Now, you're very good on the camera. Some of us have less, not that we don't care, but we just know that we're never going to be like the model perfect people on camera. So we just go with who we are. That's where I come from with it because,
right.
Why I'm in pajamas, because I know I can't compete with the young professional women that are out there hustling and bustling. So, and I don't even want to, because that's not the area of expertise I have or the market I want to go after.
Right.
So do you have any favorite client stories or favorite testimonial stories that you would love to share with us?
I do. And actually, it's going to be a shout out. He's on Facebook. Shout out to Alex Branning for this one. So Alex Branning is one of my clients, and he does internet marketing for other companies.
I know Alex.
He's trying to close a whale of a client. But the whale client, they want to talk to his previous clients. And that's going to take an insanely long time to get the phone calls and all that fun stuff. He sent some of our videos we did for him, and the client bought within 5 hours.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love Alex. Alex and I are actually Facebook friends.
You know Alex?
I do know Alex, yep. Well, I don't know him super well. We've just been Facebook friends for a while.
Yep. Hey, I just want to say this. Shout out to my bald friends with like Alex.
Shout out to my old gray-haired ladies with straight Phyllis Diller hair, right? So I think we've talked a little bit about, maybe let's go into it a little more. What are some of the benefits from your standpoint of people having good, clean testimonials? Because we all can get testimonials and Facebook things nowadays that are just kind of, like you said, they're saying how awesome we are, but people don't care how wonderful we are. They just want to know what kind of result we can help them get. So what are some of the benefits from your standpoint of people having you do these for them versus just collecting them on their own?
Well, big thing is that because I've done thousands of phone calls, our team has done thousands, we know how to get people to say what you want them to say on the phone from that point there. So, again, the expertise. Another thing is we're able to show you how to use those testimonials to basically in your marketing. For example, I never ever once say On Fire Review does when I'm talking to someone. Right. I'll say something, I was talking to one of my clients and they were telling me that they're able to use our videos to shorten the sales cycle. Another one of my clients, they tell me they're seeing a 10% increase in their closing ratio. And I actually have those quotes and they say, really, yeah, well, here's either the written version or a video version of it. So my sales strategy and our client sales strategy, we train them never say I do or our company does. It's always my clients say and whatever you want them to say.
That is a gold nugget, anybody that's listening. That is a totally gold nugget. And I'm going to start doing that now too, because I don't want to ever be salesy.
Right. Look at your current testimonials you have, read them over, Basically, look at the difference. We call it the difference between fact and flattery. A flattery is the pajama grandma is awesome and I love her and she's adorable. Again, flattery. No, that's adorable. That's great. Mm-hmm. A fact is that pajama grandma helped me change my XYZ to ABC. My conversion rate increased by this part here. So if you have a client that talked about, and again, just spitballing here, that their conversion rates increased by 20%. Every single time you talk to someone, instead of saying I help my clients increase their conversion rate, you would say, well, my clients are telling me that their conversion rates are increasing around 20%.
I need to go back and look at my webinar now and what I say in my webinars.
We actually did the same thing recently. Again, cobbler has no shoes. We realized that we weren't doing some of the stuff that we tell our clients to do. So we just recently went through our webinar script and basically worked everything out there.
I'm definitely gonna have to do that and check all my testimonials in there and how they're worded and what they're saying and if they're results oriented versus flattery. I don't think there's very many flattery ones. I tend to be hard on my coaching students. Not on them, but I hold them accountable, and it's kind of a feet to the fire sort of thing. You can sugarcoat stuff for people, but they can hire all kinds of people to sugarcoat stuff for them and tell them stuff that'll make them feel good and fluffy and happy on the inside. But if that doesn't get them the result they want, what's the point?
Right. And again, I like, personally for me, all the coaches that I've worked with, I don't need a therapist.
Exactly.
I don't need a coach to tell me you're great, you're wonderful, you can succeed. It's very much, why am I not having the numbers that I want? Mm-hmm. What can I do to fix them? The end.
Very tactical. Yep. Awesome. So how can people reach you and how can they work with you, and what's it look like to work with you? What do they need to do to get in touch with you? And then what kind of things would they have to have or do to prepare to work with you?
Well, basically, again, it's if you can reach us at onfirereviews.com or ping me on Facebook, facebook.com/thebobhatter.
Bob Hatter.
And generally what we do is we talk with a client beforehand and kind of figure out what they're looking for. And we have to make sure that they're a good fit for us. Mm-hmm. Because if your clients don't love you, you're not a good fit for us. We actually used to do Google ads, and we had someone who hired us, and it took us to get 5 really good testimonials. We had to call 80 people.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, and that does it. And when we do testimonials, we only charge per good ones. Mm-hmm. So we have someone on the phone, they just say you're great and you're wonderful and they love you, but they're not giving concise information. We send the person the audio and say this one's on us. They didn't really do anything with it there. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that the person we're talking to has a good reputation. Mm-hmm. And then basically at that point is we have what we call a wow session, where we basically have a conversation to make sure we know what your clients say, what you want your clients to say about you, what makes you different, unique in your industry. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, we meet again briefly, say, here's the questions we have, then we call for them. And then at that point, it's either do you want them as transcripts, where we show you, the transcript of the phone call made into a testimonial, or do you want videos?
Nice.
And another cool thing about videos I wanted to tell you about is we do what's called a wow video. So, for example, we're going to use Alex Browning again as an example. Hey, Alex, how you doing? There we go. So one of the things Alex talked about is he is two important things for him. He gives conversions and he's reachable. Because there's a lot of people, online marketers, that once you get their money, you send them an email, you'll give a response back in 3 days, and that's 3 work days, not your weekend days. Mm-hmm. So he has a video where every single person talks about how reachable he is. We took that little quote and put it all into one video.
Nice.
So if someone talks to him, he's talking to someone and he says, man, the last guy I worked with, he never returned my phone calls. And I've been there with internet marketing guys that have never returned my phone calls and take forever to get back to you. He just sends a video, well, this is what my clients are telling me about how reachable I am. Another person said, another one will be well, last person I worked with, I made no money. I just gave them a lot of money for Facebook ads and social media and got no return. Well, here's what my clients are telling me about my returns. So he doesn't have to fight the objection himself.
Perfect. Very nice. I was going to ask you something, and I just slipped right out of my mind. It was something about my phone. I don't remember what it was about my phone. That's what happens when you get old, Bob. You forget things like that. Oh, I got it. Do you work primarily with people that have online businesses and online type agency things and coaches and things, or both brick and mortar businesses and online businesses?
Most of it, and again, it's some brick and mortars, but here's what I tell people. It's basically, we do a lot of real estate agents, for example. That's another interesting one. Basically, what it comes down to, for the cost of our service to make it to where, you know, it makes sense, the product or service that you're selling needs to be, you know, at minimum $500.
Okay. And
also, the more emotional the purchase, the better. So, like, if you came to me and said, I have a coffee shop and I should hire you, I'm like, you know, no, you definitely, I'm not a good fit for you.
But if I sell home security systems, that might be a really good fit.
That might be. And then also what it would come down to, if you were working home security, I would say, do you have any of your clients who, you know, have had to use the home security system, that it's, you know, help them out? And they say, yes, sweet, we'll talk to them and get them to talk about the experience. Nice. And also, even if they want to do it anonymously, we just, instead of using their name, you know, instead of Pajama Grandma, we'll put P Grandma or Pajama G.
P Grandma, Pajama. I do use my real name usually sometimes. Not usually. Well,
I'm just, again, because you're the Pajama Grandma, I think I use that as a, you know.
Absolutely, that's very nice.
You understand what I'm saying.
I get it, yep. Because I work with a lot of people that have traditional brick and mortar businesses, because I came from corporate America in the brick and mortar world. So a lot of people that work with me come from those businesses, and I help them to add an online component versus a lot of people focus on just online businesses and helping them to grow and build and things. So that's why I asked about that brick and mortar businesses, because I think that there's a lot of applications for what you do to them, and they don't even know it. The business owners don't even know that they should get testimonials and they should have them, and how to build them into and use them in their business to help promote their business in a way that makes sense. So I think everything that you've said applies to brick and mortar businesses, even if they're selling the gold nugget about how to say and talk about yourself and your services. That's huge. And any business can learn from that, whether they're a restaurant or I work with a lot of bars and restaurants, and actually, the lifetime value of a bar and restaurant for a customer is about $6,000, even for a cheap restaurant. So they probably can afford to work with you. They just don't know that they can.
Well, again, what I have found, though, that unless you have the rating band for the restaurants, you're not, again, for us personally, for On Fire Reviews, it's not going to work out. But again, if you're talking about, you know, doing advertising there, read your Facebook reviews. And then people are talking about how juicy your double quarter pounder is, or your double cheeseburger. Put that into your marketing, where it says, you know, basically people saying, you know, the burger melted in my mouth. Yeah,
very cool. All right, so we know how to reach you. We know what we need. We know we need testimonials, and we know that if we have a $500 or more awesome product with great testimonies and people that love what we do for them, that we should contact you, and you can help set us straight on our testimonials and how to do them. Actually, you can do them for us. We don't have to figure it out ourselves.
Yes, I mean, it's a skill. There is a skill involved, and it took us 5 years to really develop. How do you get that phone call? How do you get people to go there? Actually, interesting thing about testimonials we found is if I'm talking to someone and they're just not engaging with me, I will say something like, you know, okay, so say you're talking to someone who's looking to work with the Pajama Grandma, but they're not sure. What would you tell them? You'd be surprised of how people will talk about at that point. They'll open up and say all the reasons they should work with you instead of just, you know, someone else.
Nice. Very nice. Awesome. Very powerful, Bob.
Yeah. Do you like the trees, by the way? They just literally.
I like the trees. Don't look at my background. I'm packing more boxes to move. It's like a never ending battle.
I can understand that there. Yeah, actually, because we did a podcast earlier, the 808 podcast that I'm setting up. And I figure I just, you know, want to show you, look, I have lighting now.
It's awesome. My daughter, I think I told you she's a photographer, and my son-in-law is a videographer, and they both are living with me right now because my son-in-law needs surgery. And they just cringe when they see my setup. I'm like, well, I could wait until you guys set something perfect up for me, and I'd probably be waiting for another 6 months. And in that amount of time, how much content can I do? How many interviews can I do? I'd rather do the content and have it not be perfect than wait to start doing the content. So,
oh, absolutely. I am very much, if you're going to do something online, cart before horse. You know, actually, interesting story about that is, on YouTube, one of my personal favorite YouTubers is a guy called H3 Productions. And nothing to do with business. It's just a fun videos I like to watch.
Nice.
And just out of curiosity, I watched one of his very first videos. Yeah, I went into the feed and looked there. Oh, it was horrible. It was bad. But
Well,
he keeps, he got that one, and you can watch the progression of how he got to where he is today. And I mean, the dude's making bank. I'll just say that there. But if you look at his first video, you would cringe. So again, cart before horse. Just get something out there. Just do. I almost don't want to say this because of how controversial it is right now, but just do it.
well, I don't think it's controversial, but that's me.
You know the whole thing there with that whole thing.
I know what you're talking about, but I hate stuff like that goes around Facebook and becomes this big deal and big issue on social media when it's really not a big deal.
Can I add a controversial opinion about that?
Go ahead.
If you don't know the difference between a Kaepernick and a Kavanagh, shut up.
I saw that post today from you.
Yeah. And again, if someone reads that and they don't know what a Kavanagh is, really, you should, if you are an engaged American citizen, you should know what one of those are. I'm probably butchering the name, but you should know what that name means. If not, Google it and you'll learn something.
Well, but how many people don't Google anything? They just look for somebody to tell them the answer or just think for them, which is really, really scary. And social media, I think, we're getting off topic, but social media has just exploded people's inability to think. Instead of thinking more and stimulating thought, I think in a lot of areas it's actually dumbed us down and made us just pass on more gossip than if we'd actually have to think for ourselves and discover things and learn things. But
actually, interesting thing about that, since we're kind of going on a tangent, and I enjoy tangents anyway. First off, full disclaimer, I do not care about your political opinion or anyone else's political opinion. I don't want to talk, again, because of where I'm at, I just don't go there. But interesting thing, in Colorado, there is a district that's very, very blue, very Democratic. Mm-hmm. And in 2010, people in that district were saying how they were going to switch it to red. And what happened is basically, again, 2010 was the big, Republican switch, the whole Tea Party thing there. And all these people, when the Republican got trounced, were insanely shocked. But my Facebook showed me all these people in my area that supported him. Facebook only shows you content that you're going to engage with. So if you're constantly saying how great one political party is, your entire feed is going to be how great that political party is. Yeah. If you want to constantly argue with the opposing political party, your entire feed is going to be controversial stuff from that political party. So understand, your Facebook feed is not an indicator of the political barometer of an area. It is basically, it's an indicator of your political barometer, and that's it.
Well, what we forget is our Facebook feed, and sometimes I have to remind myself that is our Facebook feed is unique to us. Just like our experiences of life are. Facebook is feeding us different things based on what we've searched and looked at before. So our feed is different than anyone else's. And I have to remind myself of that sometimes when I'm seeing a lot of stuff, I like a lot of ads and things. I'm like, why am I seeing all this stuff? Well, I must have liked something along the way or commented. And so they're showing me more and more things like that. So it's actually a really good barometer of our own behavior and our own preferences. And if we want to understand more about ourselves, if we actually step back and watch what it's showing us, it's showing us exactly what we're asking for. Kind of like our thoughts and feelings and beliefs. We get what we expect, and it's what we put out there is exactly what we get back. So very cool.
Funny story, I got an ad for Alcoholics Anonymous.
Really?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I drink very rarely. Mm-hmm. Like before the ad, I can't remember the last time I had a drink. It might have been a month or two. So I made a joke of, obviously Facebook thinks I'm an alcoholic. I'm failing. I need to have a drink today. And then I forgot to have the drink. So somebody posted, how'd that drink go? I forgot to have it. I'm failing,
Failing at being an alcoholic.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really interesting. But there's, I forget. And I have to remind myself sometimes when I'm looking for something on any social media, I have to remember their platforms work differently. And what they show us is what we ask them to show us or what they think we're going to like. So that's really interesting.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to hop off and respect your time. I thank you so much. Very interesting. Super interesting. And
we went on a tangent, but who cares? It's Facebook Live. Let's just have a little fun.
We can. I like fun. I could break out my white hat.
Go for it.
Scary white hat. Where is that?
Let's see if you can find it.
Oh, I can find it. Okay. I might have cluttered messes, but I can find everything. I'm one of those people that has like
impressive.
A freaky mind, but I can find everything. It's actually a strange skill of little or no value, except to me. I can find lost shit. I mean, it doesn't even have to be just my stuff. I've just got this ability to find people's lost things. So the kids love it. They lose their keys, or if they lose anything, they're like, okay, Mom. And it's really, you just backtrack where you backtrack and go backwards where you were, and you usually can find anything.
Yep. You should have been at my house today. I lost my glasses earlier.
Uh-oh.
I found them. They were on my bed.
Oh, I've got like, mine don't do any good. I'm to magnifying glasses, but I have glasses everywhere. Every room has glasses and magnifying glasses in it so that I can see. It's life. It makes it fun. Now I messed up my lovely Phyllis Diller hair with my hat. Yeah, this hat my son actually wore. Remember the movie Dumb and Dumber with the blue tuxedo?
And the blue and orange, yep.
Yeah, the blue and orange. Well, when my nephew got married, my son had a baby blue tuxedo from prom. He wore it as a joke to one of his proms. And so he wore that suit to his cousin's wedding.
Nice.
And before the dance, my nephew switched with my son, and my nephew's a little bit chubbier than my son, so it was a little tight and hilarious. But he showed up on the dance floor for his first dance in that blue tuxedo, and I think his new wife was about ready to kill him. But it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Awesome.
It was so funny.
Awesome.
So that's why he had that hat too, that goofy hat. So that's where the hat came from. Well, sweet. Bob, you have an awesome day. I know you have a bunch of interviews and podcasts to go. Thanks for having me on yours. It was very fun, by the way. A lot more fun.
Absolutely. Once again, one of the things is I'm not publishing until I get 20 episodes.
Nice.
So that way I have a good backlog and everything, but I'll let you know when it's up.
Absolutely. I know a secret about my podcast. I actually launched my podcast in one day.
That's impressive.
Well, it's because I'd been doing Facebook Lives for a really long time. And one of my friends she put up a thing that she had launched her podcast in a week. And I'd been going to do something with it for like months. And I'm like, well, screw that. I'm going to launch mine tomorrow. So I got everything ready. I found a platform and I just launched it. I still don't have music on it or an intro or an outro, but at least it's been up, and I've got hundreds of episodes on there. So yeah, awesome. Get a pile of episodes and then get it up there. It's going to be fun.
It will be. Excellent. Well, Sharon, you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks a lot, Bob. Talk soon.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Maybe.
Are we still sharing?